Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So let's talk about this whole situation with Keke Palmer. Keke Palmer is on the news yet again about her boyfriend slash baby daddy, Darius Jackson. And this time it would appear that Keke has filed for a restraining order against Darius, and she's also filing for sole custody of their 8-month-old son, allegedly over the DV case. Keke is alleging that Darius put hands on her several times. And as I was reading online, I saw a lot of people were rallying with Keke, but there are some odd comments that were off. Like people were saying, where's the evidence? And saying she's lying, she just wants to be on the streets. And then someone else had said, how is a child supposed to grow up without a father and all that stuff? And I just was taken aback because I could not believe what I was reading. But thankfully, I am glad that she has a lot more people supporting her. For example, her mom speaking out. Like, I have known Keke forever and I've never really seen her mom except for one time, but she's always been there. She's always been with Keke, but she's never felt the need to like say anything and in public. But this time she decided to speak up, and this is what she had to say.
Look, I've never done anything like this. I've been in this business for 22 years. I've seen a lot of stuff, but I can't help myself. For Sharonis Jackson to post on his Twitter, the ridiculous stuff that he's posting when he knew his brother was abusive. I went to Sharonis over a year ago and told him that his brother was abusive to my daughter. And he said, well, I used to be like that too. What? So now he's posting on Twitter like he's this special guy when we know he's the biggest boy in Hollywood. He's disrespectful to women just like his little brother. He taught his brother how to be abusive. So he don't get to act like he's this special guy. No, you're a boy and you're a part of the problem.
Like, even when the whole Usher thing was happening, Keke's mom never really said anything. Like, Keke has had some shenanigans happened, and the mom has never felt the need to say anything. So it makes you wonder why now? Why with this case? Why is the mom speaking out now? I think there is something to be said about that. The other thing that makes Keke's story a little bit more plausible is because the judge just granted Keke sole custody of their son, and also granted the restraining order against Darius, and Darius also is to turn in a hand weapon that he currently has in his possession, which is very crazy and dangerous. It's a very sad situation. You know, it's never okay for anybody to put their hands on anybody. I also saw in the comments that people were saying that's why you don't date down, and I just want to say that this whole dating down thing, it doesn't have anything to do with DV. Okay, so there are two different types of man that you will encounter when you're dating below your tax bracket, right? And DV, like someone who is prone to being abusive and violent, is not one of them. That's a whole separate category on its own. The two types of men that I believe, in my opinion, that you will find when you date down is, number one, the type of guy who has no problem just laying around and letting a woman take care of them and give them no problem. They will do whatever they need to do so that this woman can continue to take care of them and they don't have to lift a finger in their lives. That's what this type of men is. And then you have the other type of men that don't necessarily like that their woman makes more money than them. They'll be there, they might not be okay with it, they'll be salty, they might be sitting there sulking all the time or making this woman's life miserable just because she makes more money than them, but will not put hands on them. Somebody putting their hands on a woman is not because she makes more money than them. It's because that man and that man's character and that man's psyche, something is not right. It has nothing to do with the fact that Keke makes more money than him. It doesn't have anything to do with Keke dating down or Keke dating outside of her tax bracket. Keke just dated the wrong guy with like this type of problem, you know? Even if this man was a billionaire, he would most likely still be abusive because something happened to him that made him that way. something in the bloodline or something somewhere is causing him to be this way. So it has nothing to do with money or lack thereof. It's also very important. I know, like Steve Harvey had talked to Keke about this. When you make this kind of money, you really just cannot go around dating anybody. Now, there are some women who make a lot of money and who still date broke guys, but like I said, you have to there because there are those types out there. You have to look for them. You have to look for those specific types because they're out there. So if that's what you want, if you want to be this millionaire of a woman and you want to date a broke guy, you have to look for the broke guy that does not mind being taken care of by a woman. And people change. So during the course of the relationship, if you do find said guy during the course of the relationship, they may change, and you have to also watch for those cues because, you know, things change. And the last thing I'll say about this is that we can't nowadays, women that are dating nowadays can't just date the way that your great grandparents dated back then. It was a different world. Now, when you are dating, it's like you're hiring for your protection. You cannot just go and grab somebody off the street and put them on your security detail. You cannot do that. You have to do a thorough investigation, a thorough background on them. You have to like talk to their cousins, their daddy, their mama, their uncle, their aunties. You have to talk to their neighbors. You have to do your investigation. You have to vet them. You cannot just grab someone and date them just because you want to date somebody. It's not the same as it was back then. Okay. You have to do a deep dive. You cannot, like, especially if you're thinking of procreating with that person, you cannot just go on Instagram, and look them up or Google their name. People put out there what they want people to see, but like you have to talk to people who have real interactions with them. And sometimes you may have to go as far as like contact them, some of those past girlfriends, get their stories and get his stories about his past relationships so you can connect the dots and put two and two together. You have to do a lot of work just to somewhat ensure that you are with a decent person. I couldn't do it. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I couldn't do this much work. The amount of work that's required nowadays for someone to find a decent dude or for a dude to find a decent girl, I could not do. Like if I was dating, I thank God all the time that I am not out there anymore. But like if I were to be out there in this day and age, the world would chew me up and spit me back out because I am not equipped. I am not equipped to date in this generation. My goodness, it's a lot. I don't have the time. I don't have the patience. But if you're out there and you want to, settle down or you want to date and you want to be safe, you have to do all that work, especially when you have that kind of money. So yeah, it's sad out here and it's rough. And like I say, I don't know the full extent of the situation, but like I said, the judge has granted her sole custody of their son, so we'll just have to wait and see how this plays out. But in the meantime, I wish her and her baby the best of luck because it's a very toxic environment for a child to be in, and when the mother is going through is dealing with this much mentally, it also affects the child, and it's just very unfortunate. And he obviously has some stuff going on that he needs to work out. I hope that he finds the help he needs because these are all relatively young people and they still have a shot in this life. So I hope that Keke makes the right decision for herself and for her child, and I hope that Darius gets the help that he needs or the punishment that he deserves. Either way you have it, I hope everyone is safe because DV is never okay and it can at times be fatal. All right, let's jump into some of these comments here. Someone said there's so much ignorance in these comments, it's disgusting. It's actually hard as hell to get sole custody in the court. You have to prove a lot, and even then the courts will still try to come to an agreement with both parents. So stop victim shaming and crying about women breaking up the family dynamic when this man literally choked her and abused her in front of her child. That's child endangerment. I guess it won't matter until it's your own mother or sister. Shaking my head. I don't know. I don't particularly have experience with like the court system and child custody and all that stuff. So I'm gonna have to take her word for it. But I've seen on TV, that they will always act like we have to do what's right for the child. So I can imagine that it can be a hassle to go through that in order for you to get sole custody. But I do agree with her. Some of these comments were ridiculous. Like, yeah, you don't want to break up your family, but when it comes to your safety and the safety of your child, you're going to need to do what's right for you and your child, because what you never want to do is try to keep your home together, and put your child in danger. Because of that, you want to always protect the child. Somebody says that was fast. I guess the odds ain't in his favor. It must have taken a lot to make Keke take this decision. Like, be jealous all you want, but abuse is clearly the deal breaker here. Nice move. Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. Like, a man who is jealous of you making money does not equate an abusive man. And an abusive man does not necessarily have to be jealous of your money. They could just be abusive, and that may have nothing to do with your money. So I completely disagree that he was abusive because she makes more money than he does. Someone else said, I'm proud for her. I'm proud of her for taking her power back. People have an opinion of you and think you should be a certain way and be absolved from certain life experiences. Turns out she's human too. Motherhood makes you tap into that part of you didn't know was there. Absolutely true. Absolutely correct. Because sometimes people date and situations are not right, and then they'll just, like, ride it as long as they can or whatever. But once you have a child, it literally completely changes you. There are some things you can take, but once it's being done to your child, you're like, hell no, absolutely not. Someone else said, for the people saying he should still be allowed in his son's life because he didn't hit his child, this is not the same as if he cheated. As a mom, you beat on me. I'm not waiting around to see if you might do it to my child. That's the risk I won't take. Absolutely, that's true. Because if you can do it to me, sometimes in front of the child, it's only a matter of time before you make it to the child. It's just so sad. It's just so sad. No one deserves to not be safe, to not feel safe, in a relationship, especially with a person that you trusted, or that was supposed to be there for you to love and protect you, and then now you being physically hurt at their hands. I can only imagine what that's like. It's just a very dangerous situation. So, please take care of yourselves out there, because DV is never okay. And like I said, it sometimes can be fatal. But anyways, that is all that I have to say on this matter. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. And please, please, please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I will see you guys in my next one. But until then, I hope to see you in the comment section. Bye.